Hi everyone. This is about the tips and tricks that I followed during my initial training with Westjet that I would say that worked out for me. I was very anxious. I was very scared because I was coming back to aviation after many years, and just like few of the tips and tricks that I feel that has worked for me and that personally I followed or did, and if it can help any of the new aspirants or any of the new students or any of the new my fellow colleagues who are going to come and join me soon, then I would love to share. Also, I came up with this idea to share these small things because there are a couple of people who have contacted me via social media and other platform. They are either in a process of joining us Westjet soon, or they are already going through the training, and they are scared or they're anxious. They have lots of questions, so they want to know how it was for us. So I thought I'll just share a few things that worked for me, and I hope that it helps someone out there. So I would say that for the first thing that I keep telling anyone who asks me this question, that what should they do, is the first thing is ask lots of questions. Lots and lots of questions. Don't be shy. I was not shy at all in my class. I was asking innumerable questions. I am 100% sure my instructors or whoever, the visiting instructors, or maybe sometimes other students, I don't know, obviously nobody's going to tell me on my face, might have felt a little disturbed or irritated because I was asking so many questions. But honestly, I did not care, because they're in the class, you will see there are kids who don't have any question. Either they're shy, reserved, or they're too confident. So we had all of them in our class. And then a person like me, I had innumerable questions. So for me, I have to understand the topic in the class. So whenever the instructor used to teach about a topic, if I am not understanding that in the class, I will not take it to my hotel room, because I used to live in hotel room in Calgary, as I'm not Calgary based in Westjet, and all the Westjet annual training happens in Calgary. So we were all living in a hotel, and we used to go to the institute for the training. So I would not take it to my hotel room and try force myself to understand. I would make sure that I understand that in the class. Also, because the classes are like 10 hours or 10 and a half hours long, and it's intense. Like, they are teaching you continuously. They are bombarding you with hundreds and probably like 500s of information in a day. And they won't stop for you. They would just, like, the instructors would go from one topic to another in that 10 and a half hour or 10 hour, whatever the class duration is for that day. You will notice that you have covered almost a lot of various topics in just one single day. So for them, they have a target that they need to do. But as a student, what I made sure was that I am not going home after that long hours of class, not understanding anything in the class, and then again reading it myself and trying to force myself to understand. And if I don't understand, obviously I have to mug it up or like memorize everything, which I didn't want to do. So I would ask many questions. I ask a lot of questions without thinking about if anybody is judging me or not. And I have to mention one thing about it, that when the training was over, and then they were giving, in our graduation day, they were giving certificates to everyone who graduated. So there were some special certificates for few categories that we didn't know. So some of the categories like other people got, and I got my graduation certificate plus that extra category of certificate. So that category of certificate said that I care. So what they meant by that, that's my instructor explained on the day of giving me the certificate, is that you, with your innumerable questions, did irritate us for a while. And we, like, there were two instructors, so they were talking and they were making fun that we thought, oh my God, this girl is going to make our life so difficult. But because you asked questions, we were sure that a lot of other students might have benefited with that, and a lot of queries or doubts of other students might have fulfilled with the answers that we gave following your questions. So because you cared about your job, because you cared about how you would perform, or how I cared about the safety or everything about my job. And that is why I used to take the initiative and would ask questions innumerable time. So so kind of the certificate says that I cared, and it says something else. I'm sure when you guys who are watching, the new aspirants, the new FAs who are going to be in the training or are currently in the annual training, initial training, when you will get your certificate, one of you will get that about the care, and that is how my instructor explained me that why I got it. Also, there during the end of our 30 days of training, I remember there were, because we made, 30 days is a long time, so you bond with all of us, all of the batchmates. So I bonded with all of them. So some of them did come up to me and say that thank you for asking so many questions, and thank you for stopping them, like my instructors, when and where required, because while you asked the question, we were getting the answer. So I did get that as well from other people. And those other friends of mine, maybe I would say maybe they were shy, or they didn't know what question to ask at that point. So or there are some students as well in your class who are very confident and who knows everything, and there were in my class as well. So hats off to them if they know everything and they're confident. But I wasn't like that, so I wanted everything to be clarified, and I did so. So first tip is ask lots of questions. Don't be shy. Stop them. Instructor's job is to explain you, is to make you understand. That is their job. Their job is not there to just bombard you with information without you understanding. That is their job, also to make sure that you understand. So they won't know until you tell them that you didn't understand. So ask them, they will tell you. And the second time when they explain you will see that it's so easier for you to understand sometime when it's for the first time, when they tell you it's not. So ask. That's the first tip. Second is cue card. Yes, I wrote some of the notes so that I remember like what I have to say to you guys. So second is cue cards. So cue card is a concept that when I was growing up, I did not have this concept. I think so. I don't know. I'm an 80s child, so I am 40 years old. I don't know if during our time we had that in our classroom. I never used it. I saw that thing with Gen Zs now, and or maybe I am too old-fashioned. I didn't know. I was just writing notes, just like old-fashioned, with my notes and everything, and going back home and reading the notes. What the young people in my class did, the young students, and that's what I learned. So they had cue card. I'm sure everybody knows about it now. So cue cards, as we know, are those small, like it'll be like these, not exactly like this. This is like a notepad, but like that. So you'll have like these small pages. You can choose your sizes and keep it with you. So during the class, and whenever you study in your hotel room, make cue card. In the class, so you listen for the words. They will give you cue words. They will tell you this is important. When they tell you this is important, or they repeat one thing twice without anybody interrupting them or questioning them, they're just repeating it. It means it's damn important. So if they're giving you a cue word, then you write it down in that small paper. If they're giving you a cue line or sentence, write it down. If you cannot do it in the class, you write it down. Sorry, I got a company email, so I'm distracted. I'll check later. So you write it down, and then when you're at home, you're reading your notes, or you're going through the FAM, which is Flight Attendant Manual, and you remember, oh, I remember this sentence they were emphasizing. You make a cue card. And then you keep that cue card until your last day of training. Sometimes, like in your initial flights, if you think you need to go back to them, you can even use it. So keep it safely. So those cue cards were so helpful. I learned it from my other fellow classmates. So they would make those cue cards, and they would ask questions to each other with the cue card. So they'll write a question, they'll write that answer, the one that in the class was emphasized or probably repeated or said that it's important. And I wasn't very good at it, so I was just old-fashioned writing notes. So I have to confess that I did take help from them, because a lot of time I would read their cue card. All my classmates were very, very helpful. Everybody helped each other, so I would just probably go read their cue card, and then ask each other questions, or I'll tell them to ask me questions, or I'll sit with them in the discussion, and then it's like revising it again and again, because in my note is a big book. Notebook, right? So you're reading a lot of things, but in cue card, it's just that topic you're reading. That's it. It's a crux of that whole chapter in one or 4 or 5 questions. That's it. And it's just one line. So you don't have to go like read a lot of notes. So it's very fast. Plus, you will notice that from those cue card, a lot of question will come in the exam. It will be just rephrased. It won't be direct questions from a FAM, which is Flight Attendant Manual, or a direct questions the way they explain you. You will see that whatever notes or cue card you make, they are the same questions, but it's probably like rephrased in a different way. So it's also like kind of English exam. I felt like I was giving an exam English exam as well, because it's like comprehensive exam. You have to understand, you know the answer, you know the question, but you just have to read again and again just to understand that by rephrasing what exactly they're trying to ask you. So yes, so that is what I'm saying. Listen for the cue words and make cue cards in the class, in the hotel, ask each other questions, share your cue cards with each other. Like somebody made a cue card and I made some cue card. That's what in the class used to happen. So I would share my card with them and they would share their card. So if any questions, I'm saying, oh yeah, I remember this question teacher told us, but I didn't write it in my cue card. That's an interesting question and that may come. So let me write it down. So I'll just write it down. And the same with my fellow friend, probably he or she might have missed that question but saw in my cue card collection and would write it down for them. And then, like we are enriching our treasures of questions basically. So yeah, so do that helps a lot. And then on your final exam, when it's 100 question per exam, you can just go through all from the day one to your last day, all the cue cards. You can go through all the cue cards one by one, which has all the topic by now. So you can ask each other questions, and you can just, without reading your FAM, which is again a lot of to read, without reading your notes, just by, probably reading hundreds of your cue card that you made from the first day to the last day, you are almost there. I think you would still score 80% with that. I mean, obviously, I would still suggest that you study your notes and FAM wherever is required and wherever you need help. But still, the cue card helps a lot. So that's another tip. Another tip is read questions again and again. Okay, so this I have to say, sometimes, actually not sometimes, for me it happened most of the time, the questions are so, complicated because the way they have been rephrased from FAM, from Frightened and Manual. It's not complex because it's difficult. It's complex or complicated for me because it was rephrased in a way, and the answers are also put it in a way that it is there to trick you. It is there to make you fail. It is not there to help you, because they believe that you know the answer if they ask you straightforward. If they make those question papers straightforward question, I'm 100% sure there won't be maybe 1 or 2% fail, but I don't think the percentage of people failing the exam would be that higher in that case. But what they do is like they rephrase it. They put it in a way that it tricks your brain. It makes you believe the wrong is the right and right is the wrong. So that is why you have to read your question very slowly, put each word in your brain, or maybe that's how I did. Because I took time to understand each and everything that is in the question, and I took time to make me understand each and everything which was written in the answer, because it's all objective question and answer. So all you have to do is tick. So I am trying to do is, but when I read the answer, first I'm reading the question slowly, I'm reading the answer slowly, I'm trying to understand each and everything. And then once I'm confident with what I about the question, or I know what they're seeking from me, first thing that I'm going to do is, out of those 4 options, I'm going to deduct the 2 wrong ones straight away. From your answer, mostly 2 or 3, you will see that you are, let's not say 3, 50% of that answer. So it's 4 answers, 50%, which is 2 of the answers, you will straight away be able to cancel it. So I'm canceling it. The rest is the other 2, which is making me confused because it's so similar in the answer, and it might have added or subtracted such a small or a silly thing from the sentence that it is making me confused now whether it is a correct answer or not. So that is where the trick is now. So what I do is, like, I keep asking me question, and that, okay, if I answered this, is it correct? Did they explain like that in the class? And you try to make the best out of it. But whatever it is, I would say read the options and read the question. You don't. So there were situations where I would see young friends of mine who don't have any aviation experience. They would just quickly read the question and just quickly answer and then go to, because maybe I'm old, so I have more patience now, and younger ones have less patience, or maybe I'm just too biased, I don't know. But because when you're young, your hormones are hyper. You always want to perform fast and get the result fast. So there have been time I have seen people reading it fast and then just answering it quickly, and then just giving the question paper back and then leaving the classroom. And it might not have given them the same outcome what they have expected out of it, because of being hyper and showing lack of patience. So I would say be patient, sit there, utilize whatever 45 minutes of exam or 55 or 1 hour they give you, utilize that completely. Sit, read questions again and again, read options again and again, and understand what their question is asking, and then see whether what you're answering is related to question or you're answering something else. So it is a little tricky that way. You all know what it is, you all know everything. I don't think there's any student go to the class not knowing anything in the exam, because it's all straightforward in the book. But I would say the question paper they make is tricky. So yeah, so that is my another tip. Next tip that I wrote here is get back to it. Okay, so yes, I wrote that you will find that you're doing 5 questions and then you reach to one question where it's so tricky that you're not able to understand, because probably 3 answers, there's 4 options, probably 3 answers are seeming to be correct, and now you don't know what is it, so you're stuck. What I used to do is I used to leave the question, or maybe no, I think sometime I used to leave the question. If I'm a little bit of sure, I would write that answer that I'm sure about, and I would circle it. I think in the question sheet you can write, I think, not in the answer sheet. They will tell you, like, there's a page where you can write. I don't remember where. So I think I would circle it, because that's my reminder that once I'm done with the other questions, I will get back to it again and I will read it again and again to make my brain understand what I'm understanding is correct or not, or whether I'm taking a hasty decision right now. So that I don't waste time. So yeah, so if you see that it's too difficult for you to attempt at that point, also you can do that. Just mark that question wherever they will tell you that you can. I don't remember, it was question paper or the answer sheet, somewhere we can write. So circle it or mark it with something, so you know it clearly that once you're done with the other question, you have to come back. So that's what I did. I used to do that, and I would finish the other questions, and whatever, like, I am doubtful, I would just circle those questions. So once I'm done, and because you'll finish with the exam within 30 minutes or even sometimes earlier to that, and they would give you 45 to 50 minutes, I think, total for one exam, if I'm not mistaken. The final is of course 1 hour, but whatever it is, you would finish it usually earlier than the time they give you. So then you have the time to sit back and go to the questions that you were not sure, and then you read it and try to fill it up. Even after doing that, after filling it up, I would, if I still have time, I would read from 1 to 100 all the questions, all the answers that I've given, and then I would make sure that what I'm understanding is correct and what I'm writing is correct. Now, can I say this is like I have been 100% correct all the time? No, sometimes it has happened that after going back to recheck my question paper, I have done mistake, like something which I have corrected, which I put a correct answer initially. After doing a cross check, I have done it wrong. It has happened. But also there's possibility that I have put a wrong answer, but when I cross checked it, I now put a correct answer. So yes, I cannot say it's 100% foolproof, but will I stop cross-checking? No, I would always cross-check. So I am also one of the person who would be one of the last few people who would leave the examination hall, because I am not in a hurry to leave. I would utilize all the time I have. I would read it, because I know I have one chance. I want to get the best out of it. I don't want to miss this chance. This is my chance. Why should I even leave that 15 minutes if I can do something out of it? This is how I am. Okay, that is another tip. Okay, now make friends. Initial first week, I don't know how easy it will be, but you will start making friends 4th or 5th day itself. Make friends. Eventually, by second week, you will realize who is stronger in study, who's not, who has knowledge, who has not. Try to have mixture of friends. You'll have friends who might be having less knowledge than you. You'll have friends who might be having more knowledge than you, but trust me, you will get something out of everyone. Like if you are there to give as well. I mean, if you're a positive person, you're sharing your knowledge with others, you will also you will see that you're extracting knowledge from others as well, because knowledge is it when you spread it, increase only. So make friends. If somebody knows better, like more than you, has more knowledge, definitely make friends and ask them question if you are not sure what instructor advised in the class, or cross-check what you understood is correct or not. If somebody is not doing well, you can go help them as well, Because again, by helping, you're repeating your studies in the head, in your mouth, you're repeating the statements, you're repeating the book, you're repeating the notes, you're telling them, you're explaining them. So the more and more you're talking about it, you're having discussion about it, it's getting imbibed in your head, it's becoming a part of you. So I would do that, as like I would totally go sit with my friends who might not have that much knowledge, and would discuss, and I would happily discuss and share my things, because it is like reiterating myself, reminding myself. And also with somebody like who has more knowledge, I would go and talk and probably get some knowledge out of them. So make friends, it will help. And this exam initials, you will need friends, later on for group studies, you will need friends for drills, practices. This is not something you would be able to do completely on your own, you will need friends. So make friends, which is, I think, very normal for every human being to make friends, so I'm sure you will be. So another one, okay, so I think I should have explained about this earlier, or maybe I did. So another one I wrote is like, understand the logic of the of of the topic that teacher are explaining you. So when they read about something, as a layman who has no aviation background, there will be so many instances that you will not make any sense of it. So try to understand it logically. Okay, this is happening because of this, because this is happening, so this outcome is this, and after this is this, after this is this. So try to understand, because when you will work in aviation industry, you will see everything is like that. Everything has a sequence. Everything is happening because of our past experiences, errors. So there's a logic behind everything. People have learned from their mistakes, so that is why we are doing some of the steps that are supposed to be done in certain order. So there's a logic behind everything that you're doing in aviation industry. So try to understand the steps that they're teaching, be it firefighting, be it any of the safety procedures that they will teach. Try to understand the logic there. Why it says this, why. If you don't understand, ask teacher, ask instructors. I would ask 100 times, ask them. They would that is their job, to explain you. Some might not be very happy if you ask me 100 questions, but I would still go and ask. That is my perception. Touch wood, my instructors, maybe they won't be happy in the beginning, I don't know, but they never showed me. They always answered, and I became very close to them. They were so loving towards me, and at the end, they on the graduation day, they were making fun of me that how you made our life difficult in the initial days, asking so many questions, but we just accepted you as you are, understanding that you do care about this job, you do care about this topic, or you do care about the safety of the passenger, and that is why you're asking questions. So that's what they said at the end. So I would say just understand the logic instead of just memorizing. If you memorize, it's difficult for you to answer the question in the exam, because in the exam they will not ask you the same way the question, they will rephrase everything. So if you memorize, you cannot put logic. But if you understand why this happened, what is the logic behind it. If sometime the instructor is unable to explain you, go to the brilliant student of your class, ask them. They might be ask them. They might explain you in a very layman's word. And when you hear that from another fellow classmates of you, you might understand it better. So that is one thing. And what else? Okay, the last thing. I think I will wrap up after this. The last thing is believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I was there for a goal. My goal was that I was away from my family. I left my kids home with my husband. I am here. I'm doing hard work. I'm studying 10 hours in the classroom. I come back home, they give me homework, I do homework for an hour, I revise myself, so I study further 3 hours in the home after coming back to hotel. So 10 plus 3, probably 13 hours I'm studying. Remaining few hours I'm just hardly eating or trying to sleep, and then waking up again with red eye and going to class. So I am doing all my hard work, but there's a goal I need to achieve. All the hard work is in vain if I don't achieve the goal. So remain focused and believe in yourself. Like, I believed in myself that I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. You can do it. And if there are so many of us are doing it, everyone can do it. And I came from an aviation background. I agree. It's easier to say for me, but it wasn't easier at all, because I was flying after 10 years probably. And Initials for every airline is different, environment is different, but I agree. I did know some terms that somebody who do not have aviation background would not know even that. I have a friend, she's still my bestie in aviation, I would say. I have seen her. She's a teacher. She was a teacher, and she left her teaching job and she came and joined aviation with me in Westjet, and we were classmates. So she didn't have a zero experience in aviation. And the second day of our training, she said she's quitting because I think she, instead of circling the answer on the answer sheet, she circled the answer on the question paper, and then she just submitted it. And then a teacher called her and said, oh, you did this mistake. And they were still, I would say, nice enough, gave her the opportunity to write, because she knew the answers, and obviously she passed all the exam. But she got so paranoid, and she felt let down, that she let down herself, I felt. Not that anybody else felt it. Everybody else was very motivating to her. And I still remember I went to her. It was just second or third day of her training, and I said, you're a mommy. She's a mommy too, like me, of 2 kids, and I'm a mommy. I am there for you. Anything, I will be standing next to you. Ask me question, and we will study together, and you can do it. And I don't think how much I helped her in the class. I don't think I did anything or not. But that woman, I salute her. I saw her studying so hard, so hard. She had no experience, but she would make like hundreds of cue cards. She would just ask questions. She would ask me, she would ask somebody else, she would ask XYZ, she would ask everyone, she would share her cue card, she would, take cue cards from others, she would keep writing notes, and she's the one who would ask questions and try to understand it logically. She would not just memorize it. I have seen her, taking time to try to understand it logically instead of just trying to memorize. So she would ask me the logic behind it, or like why this is, or like she would ask somebody else, and then she would just, learn it. So that girl without any zero experience, also 40 plus, if she could do it, I'm sure there are many examples like that. She was just close to me in my class, so I'm giving. I'm sure you all can do it. I have seen her, passing the exams with flying colors. She got an extra certificate in her graduation beside the graduation certificate. I don't remember which one was it. I think it was like she rose as a phoenix. So because she was about to give up, but then she fought back, and then she gave such good results, and then she not only survived, she flourished. So something about that, she got a certificate as well. So she's doing very good. She's flying as well with me. So all I can say, you can do it. Just these tips and tricks that work for me. If you think it works for you, you can follow it. And believe in yourself and put the hard work. Put the hard work. If you really need it, you put the hard work. You'll get it. You will get it. So best of luck and best of wishes, and hopefully see a lot of you flying with me in the sky. And if you see me, say hi. There's a few times I've met few of them who have seen my videos before their training, and or before they joined initials, and now they're already flying with me. So they came up to me and said, oh, we watched your video and it was really helpful. So I felt really good. I mean, even if it's helpful or not, the video, it was still nice that they came and acknowledged it, and they were like really sweet to me. So I met few of them, and regardless, this video helps you or not, if you see me and you know me, just wave a hi. I'll be very happy to meet you in the sky.